All right, this topic is called finding the slope given 2 points on the line. I don't know if I agree with the word finding. We're actually calculating it. We're determining what it is given the information that they gave us. It's not like we're looking for the lost slope. So, all right, yeah, that's my little rant for today. What do you need to know for this topic? Really, what you need to know is that when you have an ordered pair, the x value comes first, the y value comes second. That's important to know. You need to be able to subtract numbers. You need to be able to reduce. I think that's about it. You need to know the rules, like a negative divided by a negative is positive, that kind of thing. But other than that, those are the basic skills that you need. So to find the slope or calculate the slope given 2 points on the line, there's actually a formula for it. And I want you to take out your notebook and write this down. We abbreviate the word slope by the letter M. Doesn't that make a lot of sense? It's because I'm sure most of you guys have heard y equals mx plus b. The m stands for the slope. I'm not sure why they chose m. Maybe someday I'll Google it and see if there's an actual answer. So how do you calculate the slope? Here is the slope formula. You want to write it nice and neat in your notes. Put a big box around it so you can always find it. That's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That's it. Subtraction on the top of the fraction, subtraction on the bottom of the fraction. You'll do those subtractions first, and then you will do the division or reducing if you can reduce. All right, so let's just jump into an example. Okay, so let's say find the slope of a line. A lot of words for just presenting it, but it doesn't really take too long to do. Find the slope of the line passing through 2 points. We'll say, whoops, passing through, I'm just going to pull some numbers off the top of my head. -1, 4, and 3, -5. Alright, I've mentioned this in other videos. I'm going to mention it again. Anytime you see an ordered pair, I want you to label it an x and a y. In this case, we have 2 ordered pairs, so we're going to label each of them, but we're not going to label them both x, y, because we won't know which is the x and which is the y. So we're going to be really cool, and we're going to do x1, y1 for our first point, and guess what? x2, y2 for our second point. Labeling things is a good habit to get into. If you're ever stuck on a problem, if you see an ordered pair and you label it, it might spur you on to trying something, and who knows, maybe you'll be able to figure out how to do the problem just by accident. But it also, like, labeling things can be a calming effect. Slope can be scary, maybe the formula looks so ugly you want to run from the room screaming. But labeling things, all of a sudden it's like, wait, I just labeled 4 numbers, look at my formula, I have 4 things to stick in, ta-da! Kind of good logic there. Alright, so we're going back to our slope formula up here, and we are going to just copy it in and plug in what we have labeled. So for m is going to equal, what's our y2 value? Well, we just labeled that as -5. Copy down our subtraction sign. What's our y1 value? Our y1 is 4. Draw your fraction bar. On the bottom we have x2 first. We just labeled that as our 3. There's our subtraction sign, and what is x1? -1. Cool. First thing I like to do is look for minus and negatives in that order. The top, it's just -5 minus 4. We don't play around with that. The bottom, look at, we got 3 minus -1. We call that the boop boop rule because minus a negative becomes plus a positive. So we go boop boop. There we go. All right, let's attack the top. What is -5 take away or minus 4? We're going to get a -9. On the bottom, what is 3 plus 1? That is 4. And then we just do a quick check. Can they reduce? Nope. Do we have a negative divided by a negative? Nope. So that is the slope of our line, and we are all done with that. All right, let's try another example. Let's say that they want you to find the slope that is passing through -3, -6, and that's an and 5, -2. Again, as soon as you see those ordered pairs, label them. Our first point, that's our first x, that's our first y. This is our second point, so that's our second x, and that's our second y. Once it's labeled, all you have to do is just keep that formula handy and just plug everything in. So we need our y2 value first, which is -2, minus sign, our y1 value, which is -6, over, on the bottom we have an x2, which we have labeled as 5, our minus sign, and our x1 is negative 3. So I'm noticing right away on the top and the bottom of these we have minus and negative in both cases, so boop, 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 boop. Now let's just crunch the numbers. Negative 2 plus 6, that's going to give us 4. 5 plus 3, that's going to give us 8. And obviously we can reduce this. 4 goes into both of those numbers. 4 goes into itself once. 4 goes into 8 twice. We have no negative signs to worry about, and that is how you find the slope. Alright, let's try one more. And again, this maybe we'll try two more, but I want you to, if you feel up to it, write down the two ordered pairs, and then label them up, hit pause, and then figure out the slope and come back and see if you get the same answer that I get. We'll do that for the next two problems. I just want you to build some confidence. It's not that this is difficult, but there are spots that we can really goof up if we're not watching our negative signs and our minuses. Alright, so we're going to find the slope going through 4, 10, and let's say negative 6, negative 1. Alright, so again, label them right up. You guys might want to hit pause if you're going to do that. x1, y1, x2, y2. Whoops. How about I write what I say I'm going to write? There we go. Let's make that y2. Cool. So we have our formula up above. Eventually you're going to want to memorize that formula. Again, if you're taking the MCAS, they do not give it to you, and there are always a lot of questions on the MCAS having to do with slope. Alright, so at y2 minus y1 on the bottom we need our x2 value, which is negative 1. No, I'm sorry, it's negative 6. Sorry about that. And our x1 value is 4. We have no minus and negative, so we just go right to negative 1 minus 10. That's going to be negative 11. Negative 6 minus 4. Now we can't reduce these two numbers, but the negatives cancel each other out. And there is our slope, 11 over 10. Alright, and our final example we'll do is, let's say I want you to find the slope between the points negative 5, negative 3, and negative 7, positive 4. Alright, hit that pause button and work it out. Okay, again, label it up. x1, y1, x2, y2. Applying the formula, we need a y2 on top minus our y1. Boop, boop. On the bottom, we need our x2 minus our x1, which is negative 5. Boop, boop. 4 plus 3 gives us 7. Negative 7 plus 5 gives us negative 2. And we are all done with that. You can also write this as negative 7 over positive 2. Those are exactly the same answers. And one other thing I want to point out is with slope, we don't change them to mixed numbers. So keep as an improper fraction. Because if you are using it as a slope, remember how it tells us how to go up or down when we're graphing. And if we have a mixed number, it just doesn't make sense to give us directions of how to find our next point. So that's about the only other thing. If you got your slope formula down, good for you. If you have any questions, come find me and ask me the questions. Thanks.